In this edition of Backcountry Bible Study, it's a little different because I'm out and I was going to sit down and do a whole study here, but it's getting late and I'm still way in the wilderness. So I thought I'd do one as I'm walking out. And I think something that we could do, that we could talk about as I'm walking, and I think something that you guys probably would want to listen to is, before we could even start talking about the Bible, we need to talk about truth. Is there a truth? Is truth something that we just came up with as humans? Or is there an ultimate truth that humans live by? And I think we need to talk about that. Our culture is what they call postmodern culture, which the modern culture, everybody was trying to claim truth and fought wars over truth. So in the postmodern culture, it was kind of like, can't we just all get along and your truth be your truth and my truth be my truth? Well, the problem is with that is truth in and of itself is exclusive. So if you have two competing ideas, so one says this is truth and one says that is truth, those two competing ideas, one of them has to be wrong and one has to be right. So when somebody says you have your truth and I have my truth, they a lot of times, and if they're talking about competing ideas, they are not being intellectually honest. They're not allowing themselves to be honest with what truth is. And we have to start talking about truth if we're going to talk about anything on earth. If there is no truth, then nothing matters. And to tell a human that they don't matter, that's probably one of the hardest things on humans. I think humans are going through that right now. They've been told that all they are is a naked ape, that there is no such thing as a created being, that we all just evolved from nothing. Understand, that's what they have to say, is if this is a closed universe, if this is just nature, if all this is just nature and this is a closed universe, then nothing created it. Because And then you're looking at some laws that are within science, the law of cause and effect. There has to be a cause to effect. And the cause has to be outside of the effect. Do you understand that? The cause of something, the cause of molecules has to be outside of molecules. Because by law, a cause can't be part of the effect. The effect is something that was created or is the ramifications of the cause. So, which is perfectly what the Bible tells us about God, right? God, the Father, is outside of his creation. He always was, always is, and always will be. So the fact that we have time was created by some spirit, some entity outside of time. Now, some people are like, well, that's just crazy. I can't even believe that. That can't be the truth. Well, if you think about it, that's the only thing that you can say is true. Because the reality is we are here. The reality is there is an effect. The reality is the effect can't be something that happened through primordial soup. It can't. Maybe if none of us had any kind of spiritual connection to ourselves, or any kind of if all we are were just a bunch of meat sacks that were acted like robots, because we all have the same molecules, right? So if we all have the same molecules, then our brains should all think the same. We should all act the same. And it's not because one group of us is more highly evolved or more better material than the other. We are not just meat sacks. There's something that controls the meat sack. And some people would say, well, that's the mind. And well, yeah, the mind, okay. But also there's something that controls the mind. And that something that controls the mind, have you guys ever argued with yourself? Have you ever told yourself, quit thinking that? That's not a product of molecules that does that. That's spiritual things. So when we're talking about a spirit, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that there is something, you even know that you have your own spirit, and your own spirit knows. You even know when you're hurting your spirit by thinking the way you're thinking or acting the way you're acting. It gets dulled. The more you do it, the more you go against what is right, the more that you don't think about your spiritual ramifications of what you're doing. But at the same time, you do know that you're a spiritual being and that coexist with the material. See, these are the things when we talk about truth we have to think about, because if another reason that there has to be truth is the fact that you say there is no truth is you're relying on truth to say that there is no truth. Is it true that there's no truth? See what I'm saying? Even if we talk about truth. So the perfect postmodernist that thinks that there is no such thing as absolute truth can't even make the argument that there is, because they would be making a truth statement if they were making that statement. It's circular. And I've got in conversations with them, and it just usually makes them mad and say, well, that's circular thinking. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And you're the one doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just pointing out your circular thinking. I'm just pointing out that you can't use truth. So if there is no truth, you can't use it to make a statement. So you can't say that there is no truth. So my truth actually is better than your truth. See how that works? We have fought wars over people saying this is my truth. Jews are bad people, so we'll kill them all. That was one of Hitler's truths. The fact of the matter is, though, God said that every human life is important. You see, if we're going to have any kind of truth, if we're going to have any kind of civilization, if we're going to have any kind of love, if we're going to have any of the things that we all value, and I mean all of us, family. Yeah, I know there's a big attack on it, so there's some weird ideas out there about family, but family, you all love family. You may have had some bad family, so that's what makes you not like family, but if you had good family, you'd all love family. All these things that are good come from truth. They come from, and truth has to come from one who created it, from one who says, this is truth, this is the way it is. So, I know this is not a full-blown Backcountry Bible study, but it is something to get you started to think about, because there's going to be a lot more coming down the line, and unless you think that there is a truth out there, none of this makes any sense. That's why everybody says, well, that's just your religion. No, it's the truth. It has nothing to do with religion. I always get told I'm religious, and people are like, I have nothing to do with religion. The outdoors are my God, or whatever. And the way that they could say that, and the way that they're trying to say that, is because they believe what's been shoved down their throat, that there really is no truth, that they get to be the arbiters of truth. Even Fox News tells us that, right? We'll report, you decide. No, just give us the truth. We don't care. We don't care about it. It doesn't matter what I believe about the truth. What matters is the truth. It's the same thing with Jesus. It doesn't matter whether or not I believe Jesus. That doesn't make him true or not. What makes him true is the fact that he's true. So when people say that I'm religious and that's just my religious belief, that's bull. It's not my religious belief. My religious belief was chasing women and alcohol. That was my religious belief, and Jesus pulled me from that. You see, If we're going to talk about truth, then we have to go straight to where it's at. And in a world right now, we're living in a place where lies have ruled, and you've been taught to manage those lies. But what you really need to do is just come back to the one who's true. And we'll talk more about that later. I'll tell you there's good reasons why, okay? There's good reasons why. But even those reasons aren't what make me follow Christ. Those were the ones that got me thinking about him. But I follow Christ because I know him. And he's so good. And he's been so good to me in my life. And he's changed so many things inside of me. And the things that I've gone through, looking back on a lot of those things, were all things that have affected my kids, my grandkids, for the good. And when I look backwards at that stuff, I just find it to be so refreshing. So I just wanted to bring that here. Not the full Backcountry Bible study, but it is a message all the same. So you guys, we're going to get going here. I'm headed down the trail. The dogs just took off after something, probably a bear. There's a lot of bear crap up here. But I'm gonna get going, and we'll give you a full meal deal next time. But this will get you thinking. And please leave some comments, concerns. You guys know how to get a hold of me. Go to thelifeoutdoors.org. If you want to leave me some messages, if you want to dispute truth with me, just don't. If you don't think there's any kind of truth, then you can't use it. I'll talk to you all day long, whether what you think the truth is, but don't come at me with like there is no truth, because I'll just tell you just use truth to tell me there is no truth, and we'll probably stop right there. But go over there. Another thing that we're doing, and this elk season, oh, it was a bird. The dogs were chasing a bird. Anyhow, this elk season, another thing that we're doing is I am going to take 6 of you guys hunting with me, 3 one week and 3 another week. And you can sign up for that also over at thelifeoutdoors.org. It's an application process. You answer a few questions on there. We send it out to the board, and they're going to get to pick what 3 we get to take. So hopefully you guys, this hits you where you want it to hit, and you can start talking about truth among yourselves, and we're more than willing to talk to you too. So I'm going to get out of here, you guys. Until then, keep living, okay?